good old boy and he's got a story to tell. Tavin will mow your grass and make it look so well. Now Tavin goes donut goals when in town he comes, getting strength for his haunches to cannonball for fun.
Welcome to the Tavin Dillard Podcast, y'all guys. Season 13's episodes 9's me. Well, I'm Tavin Dillard. I got Tavin's Lawn Care Services, mowing, edging, grass cutting legend. That's what's going on. Welcome in, y'all guys. I hope you're doing well. Hey, if you was in Sweet Springs, Missouri on Friday, then you might have seen me if you was at my show. I guess you could have been in Sweet Springs, Missouri and then not seen me because you wasn't at the show. But hoot of a time. Great crowd, lots of enthusiasm. I probably talked more about it in the podcast last week, but I had all kinds of stuff there. Here's what's going on. I had my donut spinners there, and I got a prototype. I just had a handful made, kind of thing. Still in the early stages, but you might have seen the video I posted. The first one I posted about the donut spinner was a little over a week ago or whatever, week and a half. And it's a good way to choose your donut. Well, I got one for myself, and I'm offering it for other people now. So we dialing in, this new product. And I don't know if you knew this, but like National Donut Day and International Donut Day, they all like in early June. Like one I think is June 6th and one's like June 9th or something like that. So it's like a donut celebration month coming up in June, which is now. I mean, if you listen to this on the day it come out, it's June 3rd. So like this week, I'm basically celebrating donuts. And, I don't, you can check the show notes. I don't know if we have the donut spinners ready to buy yet by the time, we working on it. So if it's here, it's here. If it's not, just keep an eye out on it because it help you decide them donuts. But anyways, I'll have more on Sweet Springs probably next week. But thank y'all for coming out. And if there's more shows, I'll be talking about it and posting it. But all that to say is that I had a couple great shows here in May, from Virginia to Missouri, and I hope to see more fans and friends pretty soon. John S. Sent me a message this last week or so with a question, so I thought I'd answer it here. Hey, Tavin, my name's John. Hey, John, my name's Tavin, and I have a question. Would you be opposed to Mary Beth Tucker bringing in Snickers candy bars as an addition to the concession stand menu? I heard about the sour ropes, and those are good, but they lack the substance of a good Snickers bar. I thought I'd ask, as I don't remember you mentioning it. Love the podcast. Keep it up. Okay, so there's a couple things going on here. Would I be opposed? Now, you know as well as I do, John, that I don't make the final call on none of the concession stand stuff. I just comment on what's going right and wrong over there, and there's just been too much going wrong over the last few years to ignore. I ain't opposed. I will say this. If they Snicker bars at the concession stand, my Memaw would be at more softball games. 100%. That's her favorite candy bar. And you make a good point, John. I'm with you on that. Sour ropes, I mean, if you coming from work or you need some more like strength for the bases, now they got the donut hose there, but a Snickers bar is definitely going to be better for you than sour ropes. So I ain't opposed to that. But I just get a little, when somebody mentions another change to the menu, boy, I kind of bristle. I bristle like a possum that's backed into a corner. So that's how it is, but that's the way I'd go with it. Thanks for the message, John. Speaking of possum, I've been working on some new artwork for a Pawsome Keith shirt, kind of a patriotic summertime shirt, so stay tuned for that too. I've been workshopping the art, getting a little arty. All right, y'all guys, what's going on? Hopefully Memorial Day was good for you. Folks got the day off. Not everybody, but some folks did. Weather going all right with y'all? Feeling like summer times? Cannonballing? Watermelon helmets? Getting any storms? Maybe just a little sunshine. Maybe them birds chirping. I don't know. A crow don't chirp. I can tell you that. Like I know a crow is a bird. I know that just by being alive in this world and living a little bit. I also know folks say that birds chirp. But I can't say that all birds chirp. They make noise, sure. Some of them parrots, they do talk. I heard about them parrots that say words. I don't know why Polly want a cracker. It's the most famous bird saying. But I hope that parrot got that little phrase trademarked. That'd be a rich bird right there, y'all guys, best I can tell. Only thing is birds don't care about money. So then and they ain't got thumbs or pocketbooks to put stuff in, so it'd be hard to pay a bird for trademarking probably want a cracker. So maybe that's not it. You might have to pay that bird in birdseed or some kind of food. And they don't wear clothes neither. I don't know how many animals that wear clothes really in the world other than Millie Ricks possums. I don't know, you know, baby Kevin and Pawsome Keith. She'll get little outfits on them, but don't call them her pets. But I do anyway, because them her pets. You naming them, you feeding them, you dressing them, you letting them drive around in your Buick. Well, they don't drive, but they ride around. Man, you got a possum driving a car, you can sell tickets to that. I'll just say that right now. All right, well, what's going on? I'm just telling you, you know, what I'm thinking about with birds and possums. But we had our 5th game of the season as Team Burger Shed this past week. Update on that in a little bit. Stay tuned. You know we off to a hot start, but you can't rely on the past. You can't get comfortable. But I'll tell you how it went. We're off, like I said, to a sizzling hot start. I mean, it's been fun winning, but it ain't been all roses, and you know about that. Most recent setback was old Mort Dwightell's walking boot from his foot injury. He lost 3 pounds, he told me this week. He had a lot of weight go on that right foot. I think most folks have strong enough bones for the body they got, best I can tell, so that's why it held up pretty good. But if you send in all that weight you carry full force on one foot, it's hard for that thing to bear up under all that poundage. And lo and behold, that's what happened to Mort's foot. It gaved out. Actually, it popped. Kind of gross. And I don't mean like a water balloon, like it exploded or nothing like that, and foot came out or nothing like that, or whatever's inside your foot. It wasn't like that. I didn't go to school for foots. It's just some sort of like a deep bone bruise is what they say. Didn't slow him down, not on the softball field at least. He was pretty slow to get a ton done around the house till he showed out at the fields last week, and it was game on at home again. You know, Donna Glenda heard about the game. It's like, well, we back in business over here too. She goes, that looks like a fella that can take out the trash to me. Sure enough, it was. So kids, you know, my neck of the woods, before I get to the softball thing, you know, Memorial Day happened. Some folks got the day off last week. Kids got school off. I mean, school basically out now. I mean, it is in our area. I don't know if you're getting out in June and your kiddos or into May, but it's into May. But the Memorial Day, I mean, it's really to remember folks who served our country and died. So we remember. It's a time of remembering folks you don't have around, but enjoy the folks that you do. And a lot of people serving. So that was a good time to reflect on that. And lots of times it do mean a barbecue. And it means finding a body of water to jump in, to fish in, to swim in, to ramp, to swing, to cannonball into. And summer is basically here, y'all guys. It's peekabooning around the corner. Tank tops, flip-flops, tater tots around the corner. I don't know about tater tots. I think them could be a year-round thing. But I'll eat them in the summer. Early Bird Gets the Perm was having a Memorial Day yard sale. It kind of goes after the, you know, it's already after the fact, but they had one last week. They raised money to give to families of veterans. You heard me right. The salon is having a yard sale. Why don't they just give discounts on perms for Memorial Day? Well, they was, but they just brings them that just brings them business, and they wanted, you know, money for these families. So I thought that was good. Gracie Dilroy and her sister Delandra, they ran that thing. They still run that thing. They decided they wanted to do this, and they've had ideas before, y'all guys. Some good, some bad, just like all of us. But this was a new one. You been to a yard sale? And you know what they say about them? You ever heard one person's junk is another person's treasure? There's junk at a yard sale. Lots of junk. And it's true. You can find some stuff that could be considered treasure, but you know how folks find treasure? They hunt for it. They seek it out. Treasure ain't usually easy to find, which means you run into a lot of junk on your way to finding some treasure. So what did people donate to the yard sale at Early Bird Gets the Perm last week? Well, I tell it to you simply, a whole lot of junk. You know, there's a little front yard at Early Bird Gets the Perm, and then the parking lot's just off to the right if you stand in front ways in front of the building looking at it. And they had enough stuff donated that they had to set up a food tables in the parking lot in addition to the tables in the front yard of Early Bird Gets the Perm. So it seems nice. It's like, oh, they had a lot of people show out to donate to help raise money for a good cause. Well, All that's true, but to say it wasn't a lot of junk would be a lie. Like, people just getting rid of stuff. So folks show up and they ready to spend and spend for a good cause, like I said, and they just to spend, you know. Really, what do I know? I don't know why, but I didn't ask everybody what their true motive was for bringing their change first to the Early Bird Gets the Perm Memorial Day yard sale, but I know stuff was there and people showed up to buy that stuff. That's what I do know. Now, this is all donation, which means once you give your stuff to Gracie and Delandra, you ain't getting a cut of the profit or nothing like that. Your payment is that you got rid of junk that Gracie and Delandra took off your hands. That's the deal. Well, you remember how I was talking about Treasure? Donnie Wayne Chambliss' sister, you might remember I bought my 93 Ford Ranger off of her. Anyhow, she donated her baby doll collection. You heard me. She was done with it, I guess, and didn't care enough about him to try and price anything else, so she just handed them over. Plusly, she wanted to help the fundraiser. That's a good cause. Her daddy was a veteran, so all that's good, but buddy, I mean, that ain't junk. I mean, if you're talking to my Memaw, that ain't junk. That right there's treasure. Word got around town pretty quick that there's a healthy amount of well-kept baby dolls down at Early Bird Gets the Perm yard sale. Well, of course Memaw showed up. Tabby Jean Tipton was already there getting her hair did. You probably know that Tabby Jean really has one baby doll, and that's Harriet Pearl McNabb. Yeah, she got her hair brushed back at the baby doll convention in April. You might remember that from season 12, episode 15 of this very podcast. Well, Millie Ricks showed up, and she said she just wanted to see if any of them baby doll clothes would fit Pawsome Keith or baby Kevin. Them's Millie's possum pets I told you about, and she says they ain't her pets, and we all know better than that. But you gonna go clothes shopping for these things that ain't your pet, Millie? Okay, got it. There's quite a crowd down there already, but this baby doll drop-off by Donnie Wayne's sister was the game changer, y'all. Sybil Farnhart showed up. She looking for flea market finds. That's finds that she can take back to her and Jerry Don's flea market and then sell it again. And all of this is fine until Mabel Childress exits Early Bird Gets the Perm with her tight little do and notices my Memaw. Now, we got a pretty good schedule where Memaw's perm days ain't the same as Mabel's. Like, Memaw had no plans to be at Early Bird Gets the Perm till she heard there's a bunch of them baby dolls down there available at a yard sale for yard sale prices. My Memaw's ornery, but she don't fight everybody. Mostly just Mabel, although she's laid into my brother Brett before too. Thankfully, Brandy Lynn Childress was there, and she parked that Ford Windstar of hers right there on the street in front of Early Bird, so Mabel don't have to walk into the parking lot where Memaw's hovering over a table full of Donnie Wayne Chambliss' sister's donated baby dolls. Well, Mabel starts to holler, but Memaw's focused, and Brandy Lynn is farm girl strong, so she ain't trying to break up a fight today. She just muscles Mabel into the front seat of that Windstar and shuts the door. Well, about that time, Pawsome Keith climbs the baby doll table and sniffs a couple of dolls that Memaw's looking at. So you got Memaw really serious, and it's kind of like a buffet at this point, y'all guys. You know, when you walk into a buffet and you're like, I paid for this. Yeah, I paid to have access to all this. And then you see somebody going to the buffet and you kind of mad at them because you're like, wait, I paid for this. Where are you going? And you get into some trouble at a buffet. Some elbows get thrown, and it don't matter how little, how tall, what age the person is. If they going after the orange jello and you after the orange jello, you might do some stuff you're embarrassed about later, but it do happen. So Memaw steady focused on this baby doll buffet table at this yard sale that Early Bird Gets the Perm, raising money for them veterans. And sure enough, a possum crawls right on to, touching one of them baby dolls that Memaw's interested in. So you can imagine that Memaw, she ain't happy. She ain't happy at all. And Memaw just holler, get that possum off the table. And Millie says, Keith wants that shirt. It's his color. That's Millie Ricks talking about her Pawsome Keith. She said that Keith wanted the shirt because it's his color. Like a possum know what his color is. Come on, Millie. Memaw holds a little baseball player doll in her hand. He's dressed like a little baseball player, and Memaw tells her, they selling the whole doll, Millie. They ain't selling separate clothes that they wearing. You're going to have to buy the whole thing. And then Millie says, then I'll buy the whole thing. I'm going to buy that doll. And then Memaw says, I'm still looking at it. I was holding it when your pet possum sniffed it. Millie just says, "It ain't my pet. It just follows me around." Well, Pawsome Keith's got feelings too, y'all guys. I don't know how many times Pawsome Keith and all of us in town have heard Millie holler that he ain't her pet. But I think Pawsome Keith was about tired of that. Like his little possum eyes got sad and he kindly hanged his head down. Memaw picked him up by the back of his neck and dropped him off the table. "Here," Memaw hands Millie the baseball player doll, and she's done looking at that one. Underneath him was another baby doll, underneath that baseball player doll. Memaw's eyes brightened. She asked Delondra how much. "It's $3.25. Memaw shoveled out the money and she was out of there. "Good on you, Memaw. Don't get greedy. Find one, leave the rest so others can shop, and support the Early Bird Gets the Burn Memorial Day yard sale. First annual. Maybe the only one. I don't know. But you probably wondering what she named him. And I am kind of too, a little bit. Remember to ask me, and I'll try to remember to find out, because I don't know. I didn't get all that deep into it on the day. They sold quite a bit of stuff, though, at the old yard sale, raised some money, and anything else that was left got bought by Jerry, Don, and Sybil, and you'll probably see it at the flea market in town if you ever buy there. I told Morton Whitell I'd pick him up at his wife's store, Uptown Gal, and I'd take him to the game this week. She had to work late on inventory and close up the store, and Mort ain't driving much because of the walking boot. I mean, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, you can go back and hear all about Mort's walking boot, but he still got it. We played McIntyre's maintenance, and they have put together a pretty good team this season. I think they only lost one of their first 4 games, and we ain't lost yet, but we had tough, close games, that's for sure. I ain't got to tell you that, you know. Cheryl Grubbs opened up the concession stand because Mary Beth Tucker was finishing up surgery on a Shetland pony down at the veterinary. Cheryl did not show up to the fields alone, neither. "Oh, did she bring some help, Tavin?" No, she did not bring no help. She brought the opposite of help. She brought her doggy, Jalapeño. That dog they feed anything to. They feed that dog anything and wonder why his guts are so tore up. It's got rotten, tender guts, has accidents in the worst places, like the back seat of a Chevy Cobalt. Ugh. So Jalapeño's there, and Cheryl's trying to unload donut holes, because you know that's the new thing at the concession stand this year, and it's because of Cheryl, because they own donut goals in town. So one falls on the ground, them little donut holes, and Jalapeño is on that thing like, well, I don't know, like Jalapeño on a donut hole. I mean, quick like. I asked Cheryl if she needs help. She said no. She said she could sit out the concession stand with her eyes closed. And I was like, please don't, Cheryl. I mean, you ain't got to try to make it harder on yourself. Jalapeño is pretty content munching on a donut hole, you know, until she ain't. And JT Whitlow walks over to buy a dozen donut holes. Jalapeño growls at him. He growls back. Cheryl makes the sale. JT heads to the field. I think things are okay. Not everybody's going to be as nice as JT, though, especially if it's another animal. But who else would bring their pet to the softball fields, you might ask? Probably nobody, right, Tavin? I mean, people got nice properties. They have their doggies in their backyard, or they back on, you know, Cheryl Grubbs and Shane Grubbs, just so you know, they got 3 acres out in the country. Well, why would she bring that little doggy to a concession stand where she's going to be busy working that concession stand? Oh, I have no idea, y'all guys. I have no clue why in the world Jalapeño was brought to the fields when that dog's got all the room in the world to run out there on their property. But I'll tell you who else would bring their pet to the softball fields. Maybe somebody who just got a new baseball shirt this week. That's right. Millie Ricks brought Pawsome Keith in his little baseball shirt for the sole reason to show off his new shirt. For this possum that ain't her pet, she say. Millie don't care nothing about watching softball. Not that I know of it. I mean, I don't think she do. I didn't ask her about that, but there's nothing in my history with Millie Ricks to think she has any desire to sit down and watch an adult league softball game. Zero. Well, Jalapeño sees Pawsome Keith and starts barking. Millie tries to scoop up Pawsome Keith, but he's out of there. And Millie ain't real swift of foot. It's got to be a hard life for a possum. People always trying to get you out of their yard. So when somebody tries to do something nice like carry you while Jalapeño barks at you, you end up scurrying away because that's your instinct. You know, that's how you was raised, I guess. So Pawsome Keith scurries right into the back door of the concession stand. You know, that's how you get into it. The front ways is just like the window and the counter, you know, where all the food gets set out. But Pawsome Keith go through that back door, and now he's in the concession stand. He brushes up against Cheryl's foot. She looks down and screams, then tries to climb on that counter. like she going out the wrong way. That ain't a door, that's a window. That's the service window, the concession stand. Don't do that, Cheryl. Pawsome Keith can't go nowhere. Cheryl can't really neither. So they stuck in this whole concession stand together. It's just a commotion. I'm getting annoyed because I don't like when a concession stand becomes a distraction to the softball games, but I'm trying to steady focus on what I got to do, which is bat leadoff right now for Team Burger Shed against McIntyre's Maintenance, who's having a real good season, and we trying to stay locked in over here ourselves. But there's a possum and a doggy loose at the field, and when that happens, it's hard to focus. Combine that with the fact that Mary Beth Tucker decided to ride her horse to the fields after that Shetland surgery is almost too much. It was almost too much, y'all guys. Don't hear me making excuses, because I ain't. But do know that the possum or the doggy, neither one liked the horsey being there. Truth be told, the horse didn't care for them neither. So you just got a few different animals, none of them like each other. It's all bad blood from best I can tell. So it wasn't a problem, though, till Jalapeño ended up on our softball field. And that doggy can't just run in the field and then run out of the field and get out the way. It had to throw up on the infield. Delay a game. Well, now this is affecting us. Now I'm trying to keep my head in the game and not worry about the concession stand, but that whole world has now ended up on our infield and doggy throwed up. Okay? So that's where we are right now. Come on, concession stand crew, get it together. So Mary Beth tied up her horse, that's Sarge. Cheryl put Jalapeño back in her Chevy Cobalt, just, windows always down, but that doggy seems a little more scared to jump lately. Probably a good thing. I think it likes it back there. I mean, it's marked that territory, so it's comfortable in the backseat of that Cobalt. Well, back to the game, now like we playing again. What you might call a seesaw affair is 3-0, McIntyre's. Then we came back with a little bit of run, so 3-2 in the third inning, we losing. Then we tied it up in the fourth, so that's 3 runs for them and 3 runs for us. So now we feeling like, well, it's a ball game again. We ain't just buried right now. Then McIntyre's got 3 in the fifth, so it's 6-3 in the sixth inning. An old walking boot Mort cranked a 3-run dinger. Now we tied. That's 6 for us and 6 for McIntyre's Maintenance. Cody Mantell turned a double play from the outfield, stole a base, knocked in 3 runs himself, and it was our last 3 runs of the night. So we ended up with 9 runs, and McIntyre's Maintenance pushed 10 across. Final score, Team Burger Shed 9, McIntyre's Maintenance 10. Did the outside distractions get to us? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't want to make excuses. We're now 4 games to win to 1 game to lost. 4-1, as they say on the season. And now we on the lookout for a win streak. Cheryl Grubbs was sorry she left Jalapeño in the back of that Cobalt. She probably sorry she even brought that doggy to the fields. I hope she is. Then maybe next time she'll just leave him home. Her and Shane got 3 acres out there. Leave that doggy home. Let it run it out. Come on, Cheryl. Pawsome Keith got into the grape and the watermelon snow cone flavors, so them was off the table when McIntyre's went to get their free snow cones. I mean, that's okay. You win some, you lose some, and sometimes you bring your pet possum to the softball fields. Ain't that right? Huh, Millie? Ain't that right? Well, that's it for this week, y'all guys. Like I said, I don't want to make excuses. At the end of the day, the box score tells the story. McIntyre's Maintenance scored more runs than we did. And I mean, Cody Mantell turned in an all-star game. And Mort Dwight-L in that walking boot still cranked out that 3-run dinger. So I feel like we still clicking pretty good. But we got to do something about that defense, I guess. And we'll figure it out. Check them show notes, y'all guys, for all this going on. Let's see what, I didn't talk about them today. What you'll see, if the donut spinners are ready, they there. We got bacon bags ready for Father's Day. You can check that there. Personal video greetings for Father's Day, check that there. Any of the merch, you can check that there. And I'm hoping the new Pawsome Keith artwork and t-shirt's going to be ready right now pretty soon. So you can keep an eye out for that. So appreciate y'all guys for joining me, sending them text messages, 501-322-6249. I like answering them during, just kind of sprinkling them in 1 or 2 here and there. That's a hoot of a time hearing from y'all guys. So, hey, we friends, and I sure appreciate you. I hope your June's off to a fantastic start. again, check them show notes for all that's going on, and email me if you want to, stay in touch. I mean, text is the best way, but then also email. Folks have been wanting commercials. Email's the best way on that. If you got a business that needs a commercial from me, tavindillard@gmail.com. All of that is in the show notes. All of that. What a week, y'all guys. What a week. Memorial Day yard sale. Memaw got a new baby doll. I don't know that baby doll's name. And Pawsome Keith got a new baseball shirt. So, I mean, I guess it's looking up for a lot of folks. And hey, if you didn't get found underneath the baseball player baby doll at Early Bird Gets the Perm Memorial Day yard sale and get taken home by Memaw to meet Rachel Christine and then all them other baby dolls, you having a pretty good week. Me, I'm Tavin Dillard. This is a Tavin Dillard podcast. Till next time, y'all guys. We'll see you later.